Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an OP Barbarian build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. So I found some very synergetic combinations between the Bard and the Barbarian, as well as some gear that puts this thing all together. I think that the Bard has the easiest start, so we're actually going to start with the Bard here. And for cantrips, I think Vicious Mockery is a whole lot of fun, so we'll go with that. And Minor Illusion's great for jumping onto people and attacking them all, because it groups them together. As for our spells, going with Healing Word, bonus action heal is nice. Now, when we're raging, we can't use spells, so that's something to keep in mind. Most of these are going to be for early games, so things like Thunder Wave, Healing Word. Long Strider is an amazing spell because it'll increase our movement speed by 3, and it's a ritual, so we don't have to have concentration on this. And Dissonant Whispers can be a pretty nice spell early on in the game to deal some damage. So we're going to go for instruments, hand drum. Just makes sense. You want to hit things? Barbarian. As for our ability scores, charisma is going to be an important stat, but I actually think that it's better to go more into like our dexterity and our constitution. So something like that can work well. We're not going to have very high intelligence, so we can also put the rest of those points into our strength. So we can go with something like this: low intelligence, low wisdom, decent charisma, strength, dexterity. Dexterity is really a main stat for us because we can use strength potions too if you want to dump strength, or the dexterity gauntlets, but I think that this works pretty well for our overall ability scores. So we're going to go with something like this. And the Barbarian gets constitution based defense, so we also have that on our side. But I'll be going over all the gear at the end of this video, or near the end of this video, and also show you how to do this in combat. So level 2, we get Song of Rest here, giving us an extra short rest, as well as the Jack of all trades, adding half our proficiency bonus to ability checks we're not proficient in. So we're just good at everything. Now for our extra spell slot, Disguise Self has some usefulness. Featherfall too. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, or even Speak with Animals has some merit, but we can get this Elsehouse. So Tasha's Hideous Laughter, pretty good early on in the game. And at level 3, we get to choose our subclass. Now, I think that the College of Swords just makes the most sense here. Slashing Flourish and our Slashing Flourish melee is really great, as well as the Defensive Flourish too, increasing armor class by 4, so pretty solid choice there. And then for our level 2 spells, Invisibility is really great, because you can go Invisibility, give yourself advantage on attacks, so that's obviously pretty good. Hold Person is another nice one. You can cast this, you do lose concentration when you rage, so you may not want to go with that. And Invisibility, you'd lose your concentration when you attack anyway, so that can be a choice we can go with. It's tricky finding spells to go with here, but as for our fighting style, if you want to use 2 weapons, go 2-weapon fighting, but I'm going to be using the Duelist Prerogative for this build, so we're going to go with dueling. And also you can carry a shield and just use a one-handed weapon there, or something like the Falar Alluve early on in the game, so this will just give us flat out 2 more damage. Always a good choice, so we'll go with that. Now for our level 4 cantrip, Friends is great because you can use this in conversations. And for spells, Cloud of Daggers is okay, because you can drop a bunch of items on the ground and Cloud of Daggers break them apart to start combat, so that could be an option. Hold Person I love as a spell, it just doesn't find its place into here. So even Knock can be nice, because you can skip all of the Gauntlet of Shar, so Knock can be good. Knock or Cloud of Daggers. And then for our feat, this is where it gets a little interesting, because you could go Tavern Brawler if you want to do a throwing build, but we could do that a bit later on. I really just like ability score improvement, because we want to have a higher dexterity for more armor class, so we'll take dexterity up to 18. Also increase hit chance and increase initiative, which is huge. At Bard level 5, we get ourselves a Font of Inspiration, giving our Bardic Inspiration back after a long or short rest. And Bardic Inspiration goes to a 1d8, so that's quite nice. And then for our next level spell, Glyph of Warding is interesting, because this doesn't require concentration, so this one actually fits in very well with this build. Same as Plant Growth. Both of these don't require concentration, so they're a good use for our spell slot. I really like Fear, but Fear doesn't really have its time and place here, so either Plant Growth or Glyph of Warding. And yeah, we'll go with that there. Now for level 6, this is our big power spike. We get the Counter Charm, so advantage on saving throws against being charmed, but we get our extra attack. So 2 attacks, pretty big, and with our Slashing Flourish, we can attack 4 times. Same target, too. I think Plant Growth makes the most sense here, because again, we don't have the ability to cast, so we may as well make the most of that. Now, this is where we add in the Barbarian. Rage. Deal 2 extra damage with melee and improvised weapons and throwing. And we also get unarmed defense, so this adds our Constitution modifier to our armor class. That's pretty good. So being able to add your Constitution modifier allows us to wear something like the Amulet of Greater Health in Act 2, and with that, we will have a higher armor class, which is obviously amazing. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to add in the Barbarian. No choices there, so we just roll with it. Level 2, we get our Dangerous Sense, which gives advantage on dexterity saving throws against trap spells and surfaces. And we also get Reckless Attack, giving us advantage on attack rolls. Kind of nice. Level 3. Big decision here. Now, I love the Wild Heart. Some people like Berserker because this will give us Frenzied, so it gives us an Enraged Throw and Frenzied Strike for bonus action attacks. That can be nice. I think that adding in the Wild Heart just makes more sense here, because with the Wild Heart, we get ourselves the Bear Heart, which gives us resistance to all damage types except Psychic, which is huge. That gives us a huge boost to our overall damage. There's also the Tiger Heart, which gives us Tiger's Bloodlust, which is a really great weapon action, attacking 3 enemies at once, making them bleed, and then we can also further stack that. But I think it's best to go with actually the Bear Heart, because this gives us whenever we rage, we get resistance to all damage types except physical, which is huge. So that just gives us a big power spike right there defensively. And then we can change our Bestial Heart here if we want to. Now we could go, there's 2 ways we can do this, guys. I think there's a very synergetic way we can add something else in here. We could go 6 levels of the Barbarian, and then you could add in like the elk aspect to give yourself increased movement speed, which is really nice. We also get a feat here, which you'd want to take dexterity up to 20. I think that adding in the fighter, because we want riposte. With this weapon here, we get two reactions, so we can riposte twice, which is a huge spike to damage. So that's my personal choice. We also get another heal, so 2 heals is always great. Barbarian is good, going all the way to level 6, so 6 and 6, getting the elk aspect, increasing our dexterity. But adding in this, it will also give us a fighting style, which is nice. So we can go, defense won't work if we're not wearing armor, which we don't want to. You can also get the great weapon fighting if you want to use a 2-handed weapon for this, but I think archery works well here, because we can also attack with bows. So +2 to ranged weapon attacks, that's nice. Greater hit chance, always a good choice. Action Surge, enough said. This is why I wanted to go with the Fighter too. But once we get to level 3, we get the Battle Master. Now, Riposte is such a beneficial attack because this gives us a reaction. And when we can weaponize our reaction, we deal a lot of damage on the defensive side of things too. So when a hostile creature misses you with a melee attack, spend Experience die to retaliate with a powerful strike that deals an additional 1d4 or 1d8 of damage. That is really good. Goading attack kind of makes sense too, so you can use this to makes the target get disadvantage on other attacks, so they want to attack you more than other people. I also really like menacing attack, but there's a Berserker Barbarian helmet that'll actually give us the ability to do this every turn. So we're going to take goading attack for trying to set up riposte, and then trip attack to knock creatures prone is really nice too. You could also go with rally, but we already have 2 heals. This can be nice for picking up downed allies though. But the Battle Master, 4 superiority dice, 4 riposte, which is solid. So you get them back from short rest. So it actually makes us quite offensive. Now, that's not probably the way you thought this was going to go, but adding in the fighter is honestly never a bad idea. So what this is going to look like is we got the Bone Spike helmet. When you rage, creatures within 3 meters must succeed a wisdom saving throw or take 2d8 psychic damage, and +2 intimidation and menacing attack here. So this menacing attack is per turn, and it deals 20 to 35 damage, which is crazy, but also can possibly frighten the target. We got a 24 armor class. This is our base armor class, +4 from dexterity, +6 from constitution, and then all these items giving us an additional up to 24 armor class. I'm just wearing the Wave Mother's robe because it has resistance to fire and cold damage, but we already get that when we're in rage, so we can go with something the Vest of Soul Rejuvenation, because we're going to be more likely to succeed on saving throws, which will further increase our armor class to 25. We can also go with, like, there's the Bone Spike garb here. That's another choice. Robe with a Weave if you want to go that route. Let me see, where is it? Veil of the Morning's okay for an option, but I would probably recommend something else other than that. But the Bone Spike garb here, this is a good choice because when you rage, you get 15 temporary health points, giving us even further tankiness. Reduce all incoming damage by 2, and when we're struck with a melee attack, we deal 6 piercing damage, which is based off our Constitution modifier. Helldust Gloves, +1 to spell save CEC and spell attack rolls, which not something we're often going to use. Like, as I said, we'll rage as much as we can, but 1 to 6 fire damage is really nice. However, you can add in something else, like if you want the Legacy of the Masters. That's medium armor, so you do have to kind of be mindful of what armors you're putting on. Crater Flesh if you want to go for crit fishing. And the Bone Spike Gloves, your attacks ignore resistance to slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage, which is actually a pretty good choice too. So you can go with that, or you can go with the Helldust Gloves for extra fire damage. Evasive Shoes, but we also have another great option here, the Bone Spike. So this gives a +1 to armor class and saving throws when we're not wearing armor or shield, and with the duelist prerogative, we're not going to. And in addition to that, we also get the nice plus 1.5 meters jump distance and brutal leap, so that can be really good too. Although if you got just the evasive shoes on, that's a solid choice, but I think the bone spike ones with our increased jump distance and the brutal leap just makes a good amount of sense. So use 3 meters of movement speed. You can potentially knock them prone with this, which is nice, so you can just go around jumping. It doesn't affect our team, but we have ourselves a duelist prerogative here. So if you don't have this, use a weapon with a shield and swap out the boots. But this is another really great choice. Or you can go with the two-handed weapon. There's many different ways we can go about this. So 16 to 31 damage at base, which is nice, with our extra boost from necrotic and fire damage. With your offhand, when your offhand is empty, we score a critical hit at 19, so a nice boost to our critical hit chance. And you gain an additional reaction per turn. This is why I want to take this, because this gives us 2 ripostes, which is really good. And Withering Cut, on hit with a melee weapon, use a reaction to deal additional necrotic damage equal to proficiency bonus. So we get a nice +4 necrotic if you want to. We also get the challenge to duel, which is kind of nice. So this is basically like challenge the enemy to target you, and it'll only attack you and inflicts bleeding on the target. So that is a bonus action. So alternatively, you can add in the fighter or the rogue thief for an extra bonus action, but I wanted the riposte because it just works really well and together with this. You also have the duelist enthusiasm bonus action attack. So we got 3 attacks. That makes this a pretty powerful build. So typically we want to be attacking, and I guess for what we want to use for our longbow, I have the Hellrider or longbow here for +3 to initiative, which is nice. But you can also go with like the Gaunter Mail. Obviously that's a good bow, guiding bolt on hit, and Celestial Haste. Being able to give ourselves haste is really nice. The Dead Shot will give us a further increase to our critical hit chance, which is great. And also we got like obviously the hand crossbows are a good choice too, but Gaunter Mail just very good. Killer Sweetheart for critical hit on attack roll, which is nice, and then +1 armor class saving throws, and this will set our constitution to 23, giving us a good amount of health. So that's what our ability scores look like, and 144 health. So typically what we want to be doing is attacking using our bardic inspiration and our superiority die. So we have 4 of each, and we get those back on short rest, which is really great. So even just a regular old attack does a pretty good amount of damage, and I'll show you that there. We can also use our reaction to do Withering Cut. Will give us 4 extra necrotic damage there. That's not a bad option for extra damage. And we had a critical hit there. So we have higher critical hit chance with this weapon, which is really nice. And we were almost able to take him out. We could have taken him out with the Withering Cut. The nice thing about Withering Cut is you don't have to use it, but we should have used it there to deal additional necrotic to take him out. So if you see your target's 4 or less health, use it. Also, we got Glyph of Warding, so we typically want to set up with our Plant Growth and Glyph of Warding, so you can set this down on the battlefield. And, oh, it's set on fire, because there's fire there, my bad. But Glyph of Warding is a nice option, too. Poor Quasit's shovel there. Because Glyph of Warding, you can put people to sleep, put lightning damage down, you get to choose the damage type. It's great. And then we can also start combat by going invisible. We do have spell slots, so you do want to use them as much as you can before combat starts, ideally. And then you can just attack with different things like this. You could also add in the paladin for some extra smites, which is really nice. There's a few different ways you can go about this if you don't want to add in the fighter. So that's pretty good. Now, our bardic inspiration is really the main draw for this. So we can even do something like our slashing flourish ranged here, which is super nice because then we can attack twice and deal a ton of damage there. So if we want to attack at range, slashing flourish is the way to go. That's honestly the best damage option that we got early in the game, and even like mid to late game, being able to attack a same target 4 times is really useful. So yeah, highly recommend using that, because you can even like attack 2 people if you think that you would do it this way. It deals a ton of damage, and very fun playstyle. So I can't rage rate yet, but I will show you what that'll look like in a moment. But we also have our menacing attack per turn, which is nice because you can make the target become frightened. So we just got the frightened off on Jaheira there. I should have used the reaction to take her out there, but frightened is a really nice ability. 26, 5, 7, ton of damage, so very useful. This refreshes per turn and this doesn't actually use your superiority die. It does say that, but you can see there we still have our 4 superiority die even after using it, which is funny because we're a fighter, it probably thinks that way. But we do have our fighter options to attack with there too, so really nice. Goading attack, which will make the target attack you, giving you a bit of a tankiness because we're resistant to all damage types, so that's a pretty good way of going about it. And then I guess I'll show you against a real combat encounter here. So, not react. So, we also, this is a cool thing. You can go with the Iron Flask and throw this down. And the Iron Flask will actually spawn in a spectator. So, you can go that route too. But we want to haste ourselves if we can. And then go in and attack with something like our menacing attack here. So, this is a good starter. And that's before we rage. So we could have used our reaction there to deal additional damage with critical hit. He disappeared. That's really weird. I was ready to fight, but Halson's down. I guess I'll go over... We can use our brutal leap to get around, which is nice. So I get hit by the owlbear there. Miss. And we got a riposte here too. I don't want to attack the owlbear, but you know what it does. It attacks and adds a 1d4 or 1d8 of extra damage. So that's really nice. And we can also just do the brutal leap here, which is a good choice from the boots. It doesn't hurt them. It kind of stinks. I was hoping to show that off, but we have extra attacks from our double actions, so pretty good. And Withering Cut dealing additional damage. He's going to heal himself, so just kind of showing you what it looks like in combat. But we got a lot of attacks, and we can also do slashing flourishes too. So you got plenty of options with this Barbarian build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.